Okay, Lisa, this is your video here. If once you attach the blade to the carving unit, make sure it's really tight, because if the blade wobbles at all like that, the mechanism won't activate the cutting blade very well, and it won't cut for you. Okay, so now we're just going to take this blade off here. I'll show you how to adjust it. First thing you want to do is make sure these screws come all the way out. Okay, lift your blades off and lift the springs off, lift the blade off. Okay? You don't really need to move that. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is just make sure that these blades here don't have any fuzz attached to them. Sometimes the fuzz will roll up in the blade. So just make sure these are clean, like that. This is your spring assembly. Most of them have two blades on. What you want to do is take a look down the blade here, or the spring here, and make sure that these things are kind of bent the same. So if you looked at this one, you could say that this back one is bent up a little bit more than the front one. And try to keep them exactly the same, because that will be the same tension on both sides. Okay, so now once you've checked all that, we're going to set this back on here. Put your springs back on. And because we're taking the video, it's not working that nicely, is it? So we'll put our springs on here, and we'll snug them down, and then we're going to back them off just a little bit. That way you can slide the blade underneath in place. Okay, now the question you asked me about is how to line up these blades. So you want to make sure that the top blades is sitting right on top of the bottom blades. That's the way it's easily seen. And now what you have to do is, as you're looking at it, I'm looking at it here so I can see it, is that you want to twist the blade here so that the light is shining on the bottom blades. That way you can maneuver this one back and forth to make sure that the top blade is sitting perfectly parallel with the bottom blade, not on an angle, I think, like what your picture was showing me. So after you've done that, you really have to grab the blades quite hard here, and then start twisting these a little bit at a time so that pressure goes down evenly on the spring. And again, you come back and check this blade to make sure that it's pretty parallel. And this was actually did turn out pretty good. So now we've got these blades cinched down and they're parallel. So now what we're going to do is take this now, crank it down really tight, because we don't want the blades to move. Okay, so now before I'm going to put this blade back onto here, I want to show you a couple things here. This pin here that comes out of this activating thing is worn really badly here and here, which I would think it needs to be replaced, because what it does is, as this pin right here sits inside of this thing here, there's a lot of slop, and it goes basically, it's like bang 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 banging around. Also on this particular shear, see how we can take this and maneuver this all around like this? It means there's way too much slop in the bearing, so it's just not working right at all. So what I'm going to do is put this blade now back on here so you can see. Now, one thing I noticed a bit ago is that this distance of in between here and here is a little bit bigger than the distance in between here and here. So you may want to put yourself a little piece of aluminum foil down one of these edges right here to fill in the hole, because if the hole isn't filled in, no matter how tight you tighten this down, this blade's going to go on here and it's going to rattle a little bit, and that will stop it also from cutting perfectly. So let's do it. I'll put this on here. Okay, so I'm going to put the blade on. Oh, good grief, man. Jesus. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. God damn it, machine. Is that better? Okay, so now I've got it tightened down, and as you can see, it still moves a little bit. So that's why you might want to put the foil in there. Okay, so now after you've got the foil in there and you really want to crank that thing down as tight as you can get it to stop it from doing any wiggling, hook your air up, turn the blade on, the shear on, so that you can see through the teeth here. Now what you'll see is when you direct the light and you get the right just right, you'll see the shine of the top blade. And what happens is, as it goes back and forth, you kind of want it to stop on top of, right on top of one of these, and then when it goes back the other way, kind of stop on top of here, so that it's not stopping and going back the other way right in the middle of these teeth, because that will stop the fibers from going inside. So what you want to do is turn it on, and whatever you see, you might just take like a rubber mallet and you knock the bottom blade this way a little bit, because the top blade isn't really going to change which way it goes, because that pin is going to be brand new in this machine soon. Anyway, if you have any questions, please call me. This has been your instruction to blade fix-up on the Air Carver 101.